Well, life, as you know, is uncertain these days. Everything from school and work schedules to our ability to spend time with our friends and family. Everything is in flux
And
right
research shows that having a sense of personal control is necessary for our happiness and well-being. So how can we manage that in these uncertain times? We're joined once again by UW professor Christine Whelan. Thanks for being with us today, Christine.
Hi there. Thanks for having me on.
So is happiness something we can control even when things around us seem out of control?
Yeah, so research really shows that the more we have a sense that we are in charge of our own happiness, in charge of our own destinies, then the happier and more fulfilled we are. But it turns out that the research around happiness really can be broken down into what I call the ABCs of happiness. It's agency, biology, and context. So agency is that idea of being able to control what's going on around you. Biology is that some of us are born as Eeyores and we're kind of grumpy, and others of us are happy people. And context is the world around you. And right now we are in some really quite difficult context. So yes, you do have choice around happiness, but research finds that it's 30 to 40% of the ballgame.
Yeah, that's interesting though, because it seems like control and happiness are kind of linked.
Yes.
Sometimes, right? If you feel like you're out of control, it's harder to feel optimistic and positive.
Absolutely. So my own research has shown that the more we feel out of control in terms of what's going on in the world around us, in terms of politics, in terms of virus, in terms of political unrest, the more that we turn inward and then we try to control what we can. So we try to control our day-to-day schedules. We try to read more self-help books. And that can give us a sense of control. But as I always like to say, when self-help doesn't work, try social action and social change, because you can also have a sense of control by going out into your community and being the change that you want to see.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about school and kids now. Things are really uncertain. What advice do you have for families as we try to negotiate all of this?
I am right there with all the families who are struggling with this. I have a 5, 7, and 9-year-old, and so I've got my 2 younger kids in school, and my older one is doing virtual school at home. It is a time where really sort of focusing day to day, I think, is important. In the conversations that I have with my kids right before bed, we talk about the schedule for the next day. We try not to talk about any of the new news and orders and things that are coming down right before bed. Instead, we talk about what we can control and try to calm everyone down, myself included.
Yeah. Well, and on top of it, you're teaching as well. You're teaching virtually on campus.
I am, yes. And so I'm teaching a fully online course, which allows my students some sense of control of the semester because they know what they're going to get day in and day out, regardless of what happens. But that's a whole new experience for me too. So I am learning and growing along with all of the rest of us.
You're walking the walk, as we say.
That's right.
Yes.
So we should try to be happy even in tough times.
Well, so interestingly enough, for most of history, the goal of life was not to be happy, right? The goal was to fulfill your role and to do good in the world, right? So happiness, I think, there's hedonic happiness, happiness in the moment and that sense of pleasure, and eudaimonic happiness in the Aristotle sense, the idea of making a difference in the world and doing something positive and pro-social outside yourself. So right now, I would say it may not be about pleasure in the moment all the time, but anytime you're sacrificing, wearing a mask, trying to keep others safe. Think about the meaning and the purpose behind what you're doing, and that can provide that sense of happiness and satisfaction of doing good for others.
That's great advice. Hang in there, Christine.
You too.
That's it, one day at a time, just like the rest of us.
Absolutely.
Have a happy holiday weekend.
You too. Enjoy.
Good to see you.